Welcome back to another video of Corporate Compliance with Triple Z, where we simplify corporate laws and compliance for you. Our today's topic is New AOC-4 form on MCA version 3. In this video, we will look at the changes in the AOC-4 form in a practical manner. First, log into your MCA portal account. Once you are in, head over to the Company A filing section. There, you will find the annual filing option. Under this, you will see the AOC-4 form listed. Now, you will notice there are two options available, an offline AOC-4 form and an online form. But for today's demo, we will proceed with the online AOC-4 form. To help us understand better, I will be using a random company name in sample details while filling out the form on the MCA V3 portal. Let's start by entering the corporate identification number of the company. As soon as you enter the CIN, the basic company details like name, registered office address, and email ID will be auto-filled by the system. Next, we move on to the basic details section. Here, you'll need to select the financial year for which the form is being filed. Now, in the upcoming fields, we need to enter dates such as date of signing of financial statements by the director, date of signing of the audit report by the auditor, and for the purpose of this demo, I'm using today's date as a placeholder. In actual filings, you must enter the correct and authentic dates based on your company's records and board approvals. Let's fill in the details of the directors who have signed the director's report and the financial statements. Moving forward, let's enter the AGM related details. This includes date on which the AGM was held, due date for holding the AGM. Next, we need to select whether the company is a subsidiary or has any subsidiaries, associates, or joint ventures. You'll have to mention this based on your company's actual structure. For this demo, I'm selecting No, just to proceed with the form. We move on to the auditor details section. Here, you need to mention the SRN of the Form ADT1 through which the auditor was appointed. Once you enter the correct SRN, most of the auditor details will be auto-filled by the system. Next, we enter the balance sheet figures, including assets, liabilities, equity, and other financial details. If there is any difference between the previous year's figures, as filed in last year's AOC-4, and the figures you are entering now, you'll need to provide a valid reason for the variation. For this demo, I'm entering 0 in the financial fields just to show the process. In actual filing, make sure to enter the audited and approved figures accurately, and explain any changes where required. When filing for your company, always use accurate and audited data as per your records and statutory requirements. Once you've filled in all the necessary details, make sure to click on the Save button to avoid losing any entered data. This ensures that all your inputs are securely stored and can be reviewed or edited later before final submission. Now we move to the next part, filing the profit and loss account details for the financial year. Here, you'll enter key figures like revenue from operations, other income, total expenses, profit before tax, and net profit after tax. Just like the balance sheet section, if there's any difference between the previous year's figures filed earlier and the ones you are entering now, you'll need to mention the reason for such changes. For this demo, I'm using random numbers and mostly entering 0, just to demonstrate how the form works. Please ensure that in actual filings, these figures are taken directly from the audited financial statements of the company. Accurate reporting here is crucial, as it reflects the financial performance of the company and is used for compliance verification. If the company has entered into any RPT during the financial year, you need to select Yes. For this demo, I'm selecting Yes, just to show what additional details are required when this option is chosen. Moving forward to the attachments section of the form. Here, we are required to upload the signed financial statements of the company. For this demo, I'm attaching a random PDF file just to show how the upload process works. But remember, in your actual filing, uploading the correct, signed financial statements and auditor's report is mandatory for successful submission of the form. Once you click on the Save and Next button, the system will take you to the review form page. This page displays a summary of all the details you've entered so far. If all the details on the review page are correct, click on the Proceed button to move forward. This will redirect you to the AOC-2 form, which is a linked form to AOC-4. The AOC-2 form is required only if you selected Yes for related party transactions in the form. Now, based on the nature of the transaction, you'll need to specify whether the transaction is at arm's length basis or not. Suppose in our case, the transaction is at arm's length basis, then, you'll be required to download the provided Excel template, fill in the relevant RPT details, and then upload it back into the form. For this demo, I'm mentioning sample data by selecting just one related party transaction to show how the process works. If the transaction is with a company or LLP, you need to mention the CIN or LLPIN of the related party. If the transaction is with an individual, then you must provide the PAN of the related party. In addition to that, you also need to specify type of transaction, duration of the contract or arrangement, whether any advance has been given or received, and other relevant details as per the format. Once you've filled all the necessary fields in the downloaded Excel template, upload the same back into the AOC-2 form to proceed further. In the attachment section of the AOC-2 form, you are required to upload the signed AOC-2 as a PDF document. As a good governance practice, it's always advisable to obtain the final signed copy of the board report, audit report, and their annexures, both in Word and PDF format. Having these documents ready will make it much easier to refer to the exact figures and disclosures while preparing and filling the AOC-4 and AOC-2 forms, ensuring accuracy and consistency across all filings. Now, once you click on the Proceed button, the system will take you to the section for the extract of the audit report. Here, you'll need to fill in specific details based on the points mentioned in your company's statutory audit report and its annexures. For this demo, I'm simply entering not applicable in the fields below, just to show how the section looks and functions. But during actual filing, you must ensure that the details entered here exactly match the content of the signed audit report. Incorrect or incomplete entries in this section can result in compliance issues or even form resubmission. It is a linked form. Once you've filled all the required fields, click on the Proceed button to move to the next step. In this section, you are required to attach the signed copy of the audit report, along with its annexures such as CARO report, annexure to the auditor's report. Once you submit the current section, the system will take you to the next linked form, the extract of the board report. Here, you'll need to enter point-wise details based on the contents of your company's approved board report. That's why it's a good practice to keep a Word version of the board report handy. It makes it easier to copy the relevant data and ensure accuracy while tagging and filling this section. For this demo, I'm simply entering not applicable in the fields just to show how the form works. But for your actual filing, make sure to enter the details exactly as per your company's board report and annexures. Just to mention once again, this form is being filled for a random company purely for demo and learning purposes. I'm preparing this just to give you a clear understanding of the structure and flow of the AOC-4 and its linked forms. That's why I've entered random data, and in most places, I've mentioned, not applicable, just to show how the fields are to be filled. In your actual filing, make sure to use accurate, audited, and approved data from your financial statements, audit report, and board report to ensure proper compliance. In this section, you need to attach the signed copy of the board report in PDF format. Ensure that it is the final version, duly signed by the authorized directors, and includes all annexures, if any. Once the document is uploaded, click on the Save button to make sure all data is stored properly. Once the form is successfully submitted, the system will generate an SRN, Service Request Number. Now that the form is submitted, you can easily download the filled forms from the MCA portal. Once downloaded, affix the digital signature certificate of the authorized director. After signing, re-upload the signed forms in the respective section of the portal. Once the attachments are in place, proceed to pay the applicable filing fee. After successful payment, the form will be officially considered filed with the Registrar of Companies. I hope it helped you understand the structure and filing process more clearly. Stay tuned for more such videos.